So I've been thinking about the preparations for the troubled time in Europe. I just heard President Macron speaking to some soldiers in France about not knowing what the next week or month or year will bring, and that he wants them to be prepared, and he wants the people to be protected, and that's why they have issued a survival manual. And the same has other countries, and we know that from Denmark, Norway, and other related countries, they have already given instructions to people on how to survive. But in my opinion, there is something much deeper we need to look into, and that's the resilience and the values that we are gonna carry with us in those crises and those time of crisis. Because it's been long time ago since World War II, and many people from the new generation only know it on paper and on the walls, and they don't know how it means and what it means to be in a war. And maybe they can relate a little bit to Ukraine now, and some other places where they can see bombs and kids on the street. But I'm sure really, really many cannot even imagine that this will hit them or can hit them. They feel so much in a secure space, and everything in the welfare state is there for them, that they cannot imagine being in another type of situation. And when they do, that will bring a lot of troublesome what can you say, reactions in many people. Because if you are not used to crisis, used to no water, no electricity, have never been in the desert, and have never tried to live in a country where things are scarce, and where you have to make do with what you have, then you can react maybe by a hysteria, or maybe a chaotic situation, and the ego will speak. The survival of the inner self will let some people maybe be more egoistically, and they will all jump boats and try to hide or get what there are, nobody thinking about the others, and that will bring a chaotic situation. And that's what some people of more wise and understanding notion, they are preparing for, to shut themselves in their houses or homes, or maybe farms, or maybe build an underground place where they are very prepared to do so. And that's because they are not afraid of the attacking enemy, but they are afraid of their neighbors and the people surrounding them, that they will be so hysteric and wild, and with the lack of morals and values that we have been living the last many decades. Well, people can do anything to achieve what they need, and to take from you what they need. And we have seen it in history. People can definitely kill each other, and we've seen it in concentration camps, where stories have been told. I read a story about this Danish policeman whose granddaughter tried to revive his story in a book about psychology and trauma, and she found that this kind of behavior can be very traumatic. You will be just as traumatized by the people surrounding you as of the enemy. So the level of survival is what we need we need the resilience more than we need the manual of survival from these countries and from these politicians. We need to enforce the values of collaboration and self-sacrifice, and making do with what you have, or living scarce, or maybe prioritizing others, especially kids and women, before you do so to yourself, and looking at everyone as a potential help and not a threat, and trying to find out things together. And I must say, I have seen that as well, because many people can, despite fear and first reactions of crisis, can keep their heads calm. And if we put aside the people who are soldiers, or maybe being prepared for civil defense, they are maybe more prepared for that mentally and physically. But most of us who are not, we will be like looking, what am I to do, and how do I communicate, and what ways do I do that? And we need a kind of education in that. We need to be prepared in the local environments all over the place, not because we're going to be attacked tomorrow, but if all these countries are preparing for a survival manual, we need much more than a survival manual. It's not just about trusting the authorities and sitting with a torchlight and having extra batteries and water. That's for the first few days or few weeks. But if something happens, and as we can see, the world is shifting today, and Europe feels again between two thumbs, the East and the West. Nobody wants Europe to thrive, and they are raising their budgets of defense and preparing for all kind of crises in a very, very hurrying manner. If things go wrong, it will also go wrong internally, and people will also turn politically. The loyalty will also shift with many people, and I'm sure some of the people will also call for racism and ethnicity and shifting views on people from other places and all that. And people from other places maybe will be more concerned about themselves and not caring for the ethnic people and all that. And so we need to be building a kind of value that brings people together to collaborate. That needs to be happening in schools and education places that make awareness in people's mind, in everyone's mind, every citizen, that if something happens, we don't just need a survival manual. We need to learn how to work together and trust each other and communicate and find a way to share what we have and to protect as many as possible. And we must be ready for some kind of sacrifice, some kind of enduring physically and mentally. If we can do that, and how to control your fear, how to put aside your lust to just react or be hysteric or go aggressive, because that's how the psyche will react. And we need to learn about these things. Some people are aware, educated people will understand, but many people today, even though they go to schools and maybe have degrees, they are not educated in these things, and they only know the wars from paper. Now, I have been in a different situation, because I've lived sometimes in my old country and have seen and listened to things like that, and have heard people on the street having trouble, and they have been fighting, and there have been soldiers and all that. So somehow my psyche is maybe somehow more prepared, and the same with people who have any kind of understanding of this. But I'm thinking of the 80% others who long ago forgot everything about not having electricity or water or being attacked or having soldiers on the street. Recently I was driving and I saw a military convoy of 3 cars and one truck, and I could see both myself and the others looking after it as if it was some kind of spaceship landing on our planet. So we need much more from our governments than survival manuals. We need to build up an understanding of values, and we need to build up a kind of resilience mentally and physically, and to understand how we react and how we should react in these situations. It needs a kind of educational what can you say, educational programs that goes out nationwide. So that's basically what's needed.